Just to cover off exactly what happened while we're getting our warm-up laps going here, there was some confusion. So when a red flag happens, typically a race gets backdated. Brock Feeney was leading at that moment of the red flag, but then they said, Supercars officials, that is, that Jada would be awarded the win. And that was a pretty controversial moment, which was then later that night overturned. So back into the advantage of Brock Feeney to make it 3 straight range. So a little bit unusual.
Yeah, there was probably about 3 hours there where Jaden Ojeda thought he'd won his first Dunlop Series race. So a little bit unusual, but ultimately Feeney was leading at the time that the red flag flew. They do backdate the race when the red flag comes out, so there's some conjecture around who was leading at that point in time prior to the red flag, but ultimately the race win went to Feeney. He crossed the line first.
I think I heard you say yesterday, Garth, you can't beat City Hall.
It's hard to...
They got one on him yesterday.
They did.
Got one back at least.
So the race wasn't done when the checker flag flew. There was a bit going on afterwards, well into the night, but ultimately Feeney was awarded the race win. And here we have our first times coming through for our Super 3 competitors. And Nash Morris, currently fastest from this man, Michael Anderson, in second Dunlop Series event. We finished under red flag, which is unfortunate with big damage to a lot of the cars, but a big effort from all the teams. Have seen big rebuilds to get all cars back on track. Anderson finishes that lap with a 17.2, so with a minute to go, unlikely that he'll be able to match that time of Nash Morris, who's actually put it back in the lane. He's parked it up. He's happy with that time. There's Matt Charter on screen, getting himself suited and booted and ready to go.
Zane Morse, team based just outside of the Canberra region. As we are ticking in the last 40 seconds of this session, I think it's safe to say Nash Morris has got the pole.
Well, they seem to think so. Nash is parked up in the lane. Saved the tyre for the race. Still 21 laps ahead later today for the Dunlop Series.
Last week, he had never had a pole position ever in motor racing. Now he's got 3, which is pretty cool.
They're like city buses. They never come, and then when they do come, you get 3 of them.
It was Tom Randall who ended up being the champion, as we now greet the green flag for Umbrel qualifying in Super 2. All right, let's get into it. Serious business now as Brock Feeney leads the field out in search of 4 straight pole awards, the first to do it since Chaz Mostert. The better part of 8 years ago. Wouldn't Ange Missouri's like to get one back? It's been a hard 3 days of racing in Queensland for Angelo. So are we going to see an upset here? McLean, hopefully these cars are pointing in the right direction. Nice lap. Aaron Seaton with a bit of a toe to the stripe then as well. In behind Matt McLean goes 14.9. Ojeda just under him by 13 thousandths of a second. This is going to be tight for Brock Feeney.
And traffic for Feeney. So Tyler Everingham in front doing his thing. Feeney comes to the line. What did he do? 14.5. He is so strong in that last sector. Does a great job every time. Boys goes to second, a 14.5, 7/100ths behind Feeney.
The sector times are showing that Zach Best might have enough here to knock Brock Feeney off the top. Survey says yes, 1:14.1, 14 thousandths of a second. This is tight, the top 3 covered by less than a 10th.
And the critical thing that we saw earlier with Feeney was he was stuck behind Tyler Everingham, so he's going to have traffic on this next lap, so he has the opportunity from a time perspective to be able to react, but he might not have the track position that he needs to react. So Feeney, for the first time, as far as qualifying goes on the streets of Townsville, hasn't got himself in that coveted pole position.
Dying seconds under half a minute to go. We'll watch Aaron Seaton, who was on top there for a moment. He sits 5th, he stays 5th. Perkins down in 9th. Ojeda couldn't quite keep it together for that last sector, so he stays 4th. Robotham struggling to get that car pulled up down there at turn 11. First and second sector, not too bad. Keeping that left rear tyre on it for the rest of that lap in sector 3 is tough. Feeney, a rider reply. No, checkered flag now. He will get one more lap in, but it's going to be a big ask from here.
That was important to get across the line. He got across the line with 2 seconds to go. But as you said, Chad, this will be the 3rd push lap on the tyre. It is the Dunlop hard tyre, so it may hang in there for the first sector, maybe the second sector. But that last sector, we've talked about it all weekend, how hard it is on the left rear tyre. And by the end of the third lap, the left rear tyre won't want to play ball. See here, Aaron's seat in the car, rear of the car, moving around a lot over the bumps at Boundary Street. And a little bit of rear locking as he turped it into turn 11 as well. So his rear tyre probably over temperature, probably over pressure there again. Wheel spin out of 12 sideways. So Seaton is setting personal best sectors, but the car's moving around underneath him a lot. He comes to the line. Does he improve? No, he doesn't.
Actually, 200 slower than his best.
And that'll be the last sector. Here's Feeney, you can see for him as well. Oversteer out of 12. Runs it up on the limiter into third gear to the final corner, using second to minimise the wheel spin off the final corner for the run to the line. Runs it nice and straight, almost in the grass, but does not improve with a 14.75. His best, a 14.50. They're happy in the Tickford garage.
Wow, how cool is that? They've just backed up their Armour All Pole Award from the main game series with Cam Waters. And now it's going to be Zach Best, his first career pole award in Super 2.
Nice job.
And he's had to go out there and beat Brock Feeney to get it.
Very nice job. They're very happy with that. So the speed that they found in Cam Waters' car in the Repco Championship Series is translated to Zach Best's car. His first Armour All pole. He was our championship leader after the first round at Bathurst, and now finds himself from the best place to start today's race for 21 laps, the inside run from pole position for the run down to turn 1. Feeney was second, Boys was third, Jaden Ojeda finds himself back on the second row, Aaron Seaton fifth, Angelo Mazuris, he'll come from sixth, Josh Fife and Jack Perkins from the fourth row. Everingham's probably a bit further down than you'd expect, coming out of 11. Matt McLean out of 14, one of our top rookie competitors, will come from 14.
And how about this, 14 thousandths of a second. There's the celebration down at Tickford. Tim Edwards with a slap on the back and a high five. And this is a special moment in this young man's career.